They told me the laundry room was empty. They didn't tell me the machines still turned by themselves. The hallway had no door behind him anymore. He turned 3 times. Each time the corridor lengthened. Each time the light moved further away. Inside the walls, not above, not below, but exactly where plaster met floor, a child's voice whispered a number. Not a room number. A date. 1927. The year the children stopped screaming. The year they started laughing instead. Waverly Hills opened in 1909. By 1924, it was a morgue with beds. 60,000 died. One by one. The Body Chute came in 1927. A 300-foot wooden tunnel from the 3rd floor to the bottom of the hill. Metal carts. The dead went down. The living pushed. By 1932, staff stopped saying body count. They said throughput. But the archive does not care about the 60,000. The archive cares about the one who died in the laundry room. No official log. No name in the baptismal registry. The nuns scrubbed her from the books the same way they scrubbed blood from the sheets. Her name was Mary. She was 9 years old. She is still pulling a metal cart through the Body Chute. Not because she is dead, because she never learned how to stop. They arrived at 10 a.m. Saturday. High sun. Clear sky. The building sat on a hill like a wound sutured badly. The son stepped out of the car and felt it immediately. Not cold. Not pressure. A smell. Old wood. Old metal. And beneath that, sweet. Wrong. Birthday cake in a coffin. He told himself it was imagination. His mother touched the back of her neck. Said nothing. She had spent 40 years convincing herself certain memories were dreams. She did not want to be right. The tour moved through the 1st floor. Kitchen. Cafeteria. Then the laundry room. He stopped at the door. The smell was stronger there. Fresh. Copper. A nosebleed that had not stopped. The guide pointed. No one allowed inside. Floors unstable, he looked through the window. The room was empty. But the industrial washing machine was moving. Slowly. Back and forth. As if something pushed from inside. He turned to ask his father. His father was looking at his phone. The tour moved upstairs. The 3rd floor was the children's ward. Between 1928 and 1932, 8,000 children died there. Most under 10. Most alone. Parents not allowed inside. Nurses wore masks. The children never understood why the faces above them had no mouths. He walked ahead of the group. Found a small room at the end of the hall. Door open. Inside, the walls were covered in handprints. Small. Red. Not paint. Not rust. He heard breathing behind him. Turned. Empty hallway. But the breathing continued. From inside the room. From the corner where light did not reach. A small voice said, "You came back." He stepped back. His heel hit the doorframe. "You came back. You said you would." He ran. Caught the group. Someone asked what was wrong. He said nothing. But his hand, the one he had braced against the doorframe, was covered in dust. No. Ash. And beneath the ash, written on his palm in letters that had not been there before, a single word: mine. They left at 1 p.m. He did not eat, kept looking at his palm. The word faded, but the skin underneath felt different, colder, as if someone had pressed ice against it too long. That night, a motel 6 miles from the sanatorium. He lay in bed with the lights on. At 2 a.m., the lamp went out. Not the power, just his lamp. He turned. The bulb was cold, not off. Cold, as if something had sucked the heat out of it. Then he heard it. Not breathing. Wheels. Small metal wheels. Rolling across the parking lot. Slow. Deliberate. Back and forth. He pulled the curtain. Empty parking lot. But the gravel was disturbed. 2 parallel lines. As if a cart had been pulled through. And at the edge of the floodlights, a small figure. Too small. White gown that had not been white for a very long time. The figure raised one hand. Not to wave. To point. At him. The floodlights died. 3 seconds later, they came back. The figure was gone. But the gravel had fresh impressions. Small. Barefoot. Leading directly to his door. He did not sleep. At 6 a.m., he begged to go back. They returned at 9 a.m. He walked to the 3rd floor alone. The children's ward was silent. He stood in the small room with the handprints. Waited. Nothing. He turned to leave. The door closed. Not slammed. Closed softly, as if a child had pushed it with one finger. He tried the handle. Did not move. Pushed. Nothing. Kicked. The wood did not vibrate. Then the breathing started again. Behind him. Inside the room. You said you would play with me, small. Wet. From the corner where light did not reach. You said you would come back. You promised. He turned. The corner was empty. But the floor was not. Written in the same red substance that covered the walls, fresh, glistening, 3 words, "You are Mary now." He screamed. Pounded the door. It opened. His father stood on the other side. Looked past him into the empty room. There's no one in there. Stop embarrassing yourself. He looked at his palm. The word mine was back. And beneath it, smaller, newer, a second word. Forever. They drove home that afternoon. He sat in the back seat with his hands hidden in his sleeves. He did not tell anyone. He could still feel the wheels. Not outside the car. Inside his chest. As if something small pulled a metal cart back and forth across his ribs. That night. His own bed. His own ceiling. At 2 a.m., the lamp went cold again. He did not look at the window. He could hear her breathing. Not from outside. From inside his closet. He had nailed the closet shut 3 years ago. He had forgotten why. Now he remembered. He was 8 years old. He had woken to a small hand holding his own. The closet door was open. A girl in a white gown stood inside. No eyes, but a mouth. Smiling. She said, "You're going to forget me, but I'll remember you. And when you come back, I'll be here." He nailed the closet shut the next morning. Never told anyone. Now, at 20 years old, her voice came again. Not from the closet. From inside his skull. "You came back. Just like I knew you would." He opened his mouth to scream. Nothing came out. His throat had become a hallway with no doors. Then he felt it. A small hand. Cold. Pressing against his chest. Right over his heart. Not pushing. Not pulling. Just resting. Measuring. deciding whether to take it. The hand squeezed once. He passed out. He woke at noon. His mother stood over him, crying. She asked why his closet door was open. He looked. The nails were on the floor, bent, as if something had pushed them out from the inside. The door was open 6 inches. Through the gap, something small and white. Not a gown. A handprint. On the inside of the closet door. Child-sized. 4 fingers and a thumb. Each fingertip dark red, as if dipped in something that had not dried. He tried to speak. The words would not come. Not because he was scared. Because something was sitting on his chest. Not heavy. Cold. Very cold. It put its fingers over his mouth. One by one. Slowly. "Shush," it whispered. "Daddy will hear you." His father was at work. There was no one else in the house. He became sick over 2 weeks. Not a cold. Not the flu. A wasting sickness. 15 pounds gone. Skin turned gray. He stopped sleeping because every time he closed his eyes, he dreamed he was pulling a metal cart through a dark tunnel. And the cart was not empty. His mother took him to a doctor. Nothing wrong. Then to a priest. The priest prayed. The cold spot on his chest moved to his back. Then his throat. Then behind his eyes. The priest said something attached itself to him at that place. Something that knew his name before he was born. She has been waiting. Not 20 years. Longer. She chose him. She will not leave until he takes her place. He heard this from the next room. He did not cry. He had forgotten how. He lay in bed that night. Eyes open. The closet door open again. He had stopped closing it. At 2 a.m., the breathing started. Closer. Not inside the closet. Beside his bed. He turned his head. She was sitting on the edge of his mattress. Small. White gown. No eyes. But the mouth was there. Too wide. Like a wound cut, and then smiled anyway. She raised one finger to her lips. Then she pointed at his chest. He looked down. His shirt was open. Written on his skin in red, the same red from the children's ward, the same red from the closet door, 3 new words: "Your turn now." He survived. The priest performed a binding. The cold spot faded. The closet door stayed closed for 3 months. He went back to community college. Stopped talking about Waverly Hills. Stopped thinking about the girl with no eyes. But sometimes, late at night, he feels it. A small hand on his chest. Not squeezing. Just resting. As if she is still deciding. And sometimes, when he walks past a dark room, he hears wheels. Small metal wheels. Rolling across floorboards that have not existed for 90 years. He does not turn around. He knows what he will see. A girl in a white gown, pulling an empty cart, smiling with a mouth that has forgotten how to close. She is not waiting for him to die. She is waiting for him to come back. Waverly Hills is still standing. Tours run daily. The gift shop sells t-shirts. Couples take photographs on the lawn. But the laundry room is still locked. The children's ward is still cold. And the body chute still echoes with metal wheels rolling downhill. Not because the dead are being moved. Because Mary is practicing. Case file 92 remains open. The archive does not close case files. It only waits. She knows you heard her name tonight. She knows you are listening to these words. She knows because she has been standing behind you since the moment you heard case file 92. Not in the room. Inside the space between your spine and your skin. She raised one finger to her lips. Shish. Do you hear it? The wheels. They are getting closer.